Hello and welcome back to Linux Academy. This video is all about regex. Regular expressions, or as they are commonly referred to as regex, are special expressions that are used for string matching. You can think of them as the find function on steroids. If you're doing any text processing, regular expressions are indispensable. To look at a real-life example, we will parse through the SSH daemon log file on a CentOS server using regular expressions. So let's log into our Linux box. In this case, it's CentOS 7. We are going to move over to root, which I've already done. And now let's go to our var log directory. Here you will see a file called secure. Now let's open up the file called secure to see the data we will be working with. There are lots of messages in there, but the ones that we are more concerned about are the SSHD messages, especially the ones that, number one, failed the password, number two, received a disconnect from an IP address pre-auth, and thirdly, authentication failures. All three of those kinds of messages in this file have an IP address that shows where the activity originated, so we can do a reverse lookup, figure out who owns that IP address, and email them to stop the activity. That's going to be our short example for this video. To make life easy, I'm going to copy one of these lines. Let's do the failed password line. And I'm going to paste that into our Python interpreter so I can easily visualize the regular expression that I need to build, filter out a line like that. So hit copy, and I'm going to get out of my VI. I'm going to go into Python. Here I'm going to create a variable called line and assign it the string we got from our file. This way we can test our regular expression easily on this particular line, and once done we can apply it to the whole file. Regex just requires a standard library to be imported. Let's do import RE, and now we're good to go. Let's look at the simplest example. We're going to do a search. We already have our line that we're going to work on, so let's create the search string. Let me create a variable called match equals RE search. For this example, I'm going to use a simple non-regex string. So I'm just going to do SSHD. And I'm going to give it the line variable. When I print match, I get a regex object. This means that the string SSHD actually is there in our line. If, for example, we had searched for something that was not in the string, match equals RE search, let's come up with a different word, hello. Now when I print out my match variable, I get a none, which means the string was not found. Now that we know how simple matching works, let's learn how to do regex. Let me switch over to my text editor, and on the right you can also see a regular expression cheat sheet, which we will be referring to in this part of the video. Let me paste in the line we had copied from our log. Let's use the cheat sheet on the right to come up with a simple regex to match this line. The letter O. If you look at the building blocks, there are no building block matches for just alphabets. Instead, you have to use ranges. So the letter O can be matched by a range of A to Z. Similarly, for our lowercase c, it can be matched by A-C, and the same for the letter T. Since we are repeating two matches here, instead of that, we can use one of the repeated character patterns. In this case, I'm going to match the number of times. So I'm going to change that and say, now this is going to match one capital letter and two lowercase letter. After that, we have two spaces. Well, if the date was a two-digit date, then you might only have one space. So the building block for a space, you can go over here, a white space is a /s. Let's put in /s. So there could be either 1 or 2 spaces here. 1, 2. Same thing for the number 7. Since this is the date of the month, we can have 1 digits or 2 digits. If you look over, digits are represented by a /D. We'll convert this to a /D, 1 or 2 digits. And go along from there. /S for the space. Now I have 2 digits again, so I can do /D. The colon is not a special character or anything, so I don't need to do anything with it. I can just leave it the way it is. Do /D2 again, /D2, /S for the space. This field here is the name of my server, and server names can be alphanumeric. So let's use a general building block over here for a word. Instead of that, let's put in /W, and we're going to say match 1 or more. Next, another /S. Let's leave the word SSHD the way it is, because Python will match that just fine. But the square brackets have to be escaped so that the system does not confuse them as ranges. Next, the 2877. This is the process ID of the SSH daemon. Let's do /D star, which will match 1 or many digits. Next, we can leave the colon, the fail password, everything else the same. Instead of root, we can do /W plus. Again, it'll match any character. And then finally, the IP address. Each of these octets can contain up to 3 numbers. So I can do /D, and same with the range 1, 3. Next, we need to escape the dot so that Python does not confuse it with its own dot operator, which matches any character. Same thing applies over here, /D, 1, 3. Escape the dot, /D, 1, 3. Escape the dot. Again, /D, 1, 3. We can leave the port the same, and this number we can just change to /D star. With this, we've written our first big regex match. Now, this can be optimized much further, but for beginners, this is a good one. So let's copy it and go back to our Python. Now I'm going to do a match, and I will put in my long regex that I wrote, comma, line, and let's see what happens. Object is a match. Well, that was tedious, and it captured a bunch of data that we didn't really care about. So let's simplify this match, number 1. Number 2, capture the date, the server name, the IP address where the activity is coming from, and print it out. Let me put up the regex cheat sheet on the side of my screen so it'll be easier to follow along. So let's start just like before. Let's do match equals re.search, a caret, then parentheses. In the parentheses, we're going to do $?, another parentheses, /W plus, then /S, SSHD, $failed, /S pass, $, from S, and then parentheses, another $, /S port, $, and the $sign. The $* will ensure that it matches everything, and the question mark will stop matching at the point that it finds a /S. If I had not put the question mark there, the $* would have matched the whole line, because any character as many times will match the whole line. So /s will get us to the first space here. The /w plus is going to match my server name. And again, that's in parentheses as well. So that's going to be captured out and returned to us. Then a space, SSHD, I've just put that literally. Then another $? Because I don't really care about all these numbers. I just want them to be matched till I get to failed. Then another space. Then PASS, because I want to make sure I'm catching the lines that say failed password. Then another $? So I can skip over everything else till I get to the first word from, then another space, and then another capture group for my IP address. And it's going to capture everything till I get a space and a port. Space and the word port. And the rest I don't really care about. So let's see what happens. Print match. So there was a match found. Next, I can actually print my matches by using a keyword called groups. I can also print out my matches one by one by doing match.group, match.group1, match.group2, and so on. So that was a short look at regular expressions. We're going to be using them later on through the course, so you'll get to know some of the more, we will be using them throughout the course, so you'll get to learn some of the more advanced features. But for now, that's it for this video. Mark it complete and go to the next one.